And everybody's good to go. And then if somebody would be willing to hit the live button. Morning, I am Officer Alexandra Parker with the Austin Police Department Public Information's Office. At approximately 2:29 a.m., 911 received reports about a male bleeding heavily in front of AAA limo, which is located at 11902 North IH-35 Service Road southbound. At approximately 2:34 a.m., officers arrived on scene and located a male in his mid-20s with obvious signs of trauma. Officers immediately began performing life-saving measures until EMS personnel arrived on scene. However, unfortunately, the victim's injuries were incompatible with life, and at approximately 2:58 a.m., the victim was pronounced deceased on scene. Detectives are here actively investigating, and at this time, detectives do believe that this is an isolated incident with no known threat to the general public. However, as always, we remind the public to remain vigilant. We also ask that anyone with information please call in to the APD homicide tip line at 512-477-3588. This is being investigated as Austin's 68th homicide of the year. I can take any of your questions at this time.
Is there any suspect, anyone that you have in mind?
Sure. So it's a little too early for us to be able to answer that. What I know is that detectives are conducting on-scene interviews and looking at available surveillance footage and things of that nature.
That shooting, it did happen within the limousine area, not another business.
That's correct. There's a game room located behind the AAA limo center, and I believe it happened right in front of that area.
Was the man shot, or is
At this time, we're not sure. It's still very early on. Like I said, detectives are here still working. The medical examiner hadn't even, started inspecting the body, so it's too early for us to tell.
for our viewers just joining us, do you mind repeating
Sure. At approximately 2:29 a.m., 911 received reports about a male who was bleeding heavily in front of AAA limo, which is located at 11902 North IH-35 Service Road southbound. Officers arrived on scene at approximately 2:34 a.m. and located a male in his mid-20s with obvious signs of trauma. Officers immediately began performing life-saving measures in an effort to save his life until EMS arrived on scene. However, unfortunately, the victim's injuries were incompatible with life, and the victim was pronounced deceased here on the scene at 2:58 a.m. Detectives are still here working, canvassing the area. We believe this to be an isolated incident right now with no known threat to the general public. However, as always, we remind you guys to be aware. If you see something, say something. And this is being investigated as Austin's 68th homicide of the year.
You guys have had 3 homicides in the last week. Is there more this time of year? Is this typical, or is this abnormal?
Sure. I think it's hard to call homicide normal, right? I don't know that there's any particular rhyme or reason, especially when they're not necessarily connected to like domestic violence, as several of our last homicides have not been. I just think that we're having an influx of crime that we're trying to fight.
Right now, are we on pace for more homicides this year? 68. Is this normal, or more or less than the normal year?
So I think Austin is establishing a new normal probably, but I think our numbers are a little bit lower for this time of year than they were last year.
Are there any other roads blocked off or anything that people maybe driving to work should be aware about, or
Sure.
for y'all?
Sure. No, I believe all the roadways are open. Thankfully, it happened at a private drive. So the highway is open, the service road is open, shouldn't be blocking anything.
You mentioned the game room. Does this have something to do with that?
I just know that it happened in that parking lot or that area there.
Was it open at the
The
time?
game room, I can't say for certain, I'm sorry.
Do we know leading up to this has been a robbery, disagreement?
That's all things that we're still working to figure out. It's just too early for us to be able to tell right now.
Was the limo place open last night? Are you guys working with the owners to kind of figure out what what happened? What's the relationship like?
Sure. So I don't know if the limo place is actually connected to the game room. I just know that they share a parking lot. And so I do know that detectives are speaking with employees who are working the area. Thank you guys for your time.